Hello, it's me, Charles, and welcome to my class, Making a Professional Introduction. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the notes for the class in the description below. So, a professional introduction can be anything from meeting someone at a job interview and that first point where you're talking about yourself, or maybe you're going to a networking event and you're going to meet lots of people and you want to make a good first impression to see if you meet someone really interesting who could help you. Or maybe you're just somewhere at your friend's company or in the office somewhere and you happen to meet someone interesting and you want to make a good first impression. So in this class, we're going to go through a few things. Remember that the topics are time-stamped so you can skip forward or back and review the topic that you want to focus on. Throughout the class, I'm going to give lots and lots and lots of examples about the English that you can use in each situation. What I want you to do is to think about how you can adapt the English that I present to your own situation. So I'm giving examples. You can adapt them in your own way. So topic one is going to be 3 key things you need to know. These are the 3 things you should know that cover any potential professional introduction. Could be formal, informal, anything. Next, I'm going to look at some scenarios. These are the situations that you could find yourself in. We're going to look at lots of relevant vocabulary. I've got 10 words for you that are really going to supercharge your English. Next is a vocabulary quiz. So you can take the quiz and I will go through the answers in this section. And finally, it's the grammar quiz. Again, you can take the quiz first. Just pause the video, try the quiz, see what answers you get, and then watch as I tell you the answers and why. Topic 1, 3 key things you need to know. So the first key thing that's really, really important and you should perfect this and practice this is the short self-introduction. The best place to start is with a personal branding statement. A personal branding statement is a sentence that sums up who you are and who you help and how you help those people. If you get this right, you're going to make such a good first impression. You're going to come across as competent, confident, self-assured, and it's also going to give the person you're talking to an idea of how they can respond. They can respond with the same kind of information, and then you both kind of know a bit about each other. So here's my one. I'm Charles. I'm an English teacher with a passion for helping professionals improve their communication skills. So in my one, I don't specifically say what I have to offer because an English teacher who helps professionals, it's kind of self-explanatory. I teach English. So you can think about if what you're doing is kind of obvious and everyone will know, or if you need to give more information about how exactly you help people. So maybe if you work in the music industry and you help bands, then you might want to say exactly how you do that. Are you a producer? Are you an engineer? Are you a songwriter? Something like that. So in a job interview, you often get asked early on to introduce yourself. So you can start with this personal branding statement. I'm so and so, I'm a, and then you state your specific role, and then you love to, or I'm passionate about, and this is where you give why. Why is it that you do this job? For an entrepreneur, personal branding statements are absolutely essential because you never know if you're meeting a potential client or a business partner or an investor. So you really got to nail this one. If you want to expand on a personal branding statement, you can think about an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is slightly longer than a branding statement. A branding statement is just one sentence, but an elevator pitch is a bit longer. It might be 2 or 3 sentences. The idea of an elevator pitch is imagine you are in an elevator and you meet a really interesting person. Maybe it's the CEO of a big company, and you've got that elevator journey to explain who you are. So it could be 10, 20 seconds, about 2 or 3 sentences. Here you can give a bit more information, about a bit more detail about what you're doing and how you help people. But remember to be concise and you want to deliver the full information so that that person knows, oh, I know him, he's the blah 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 person. So you want to make it memorable and you want to make it easy to understand. So next we're going to look at open-ended questions. This is for after you've done that initial introduction. So you've got your initial introduction memorized. It's very succinct and they know who you are. Now what? You still need to carry on the conversation. You don't just walk away, right? So you can think about some open-ended questions. Getting these prepared before you go to a potential meeting or something like that is really going to make you seem confident and in control of a situation. There are two goals with open-ended questions. You want to carry on the conversation and you want to let the other person talk about themselves. This shows that you care about them, you're interested in them, you're not just talking about yourself. So that's goal number one. You're showing you're interested in them. The second goal is to understand about them to see if you have any shared interests. So whatever it is that they're interested in, you can think, oh, I could talk about that topic a bit more. I could ask them more questions about that. If they're interested in something and you're also interested in something, great, you've got a shared passion, and that is going to be a good chance to build a strong relationship based on that. For open-ended questions, rather than thinking of specific questions, you can think about general topics. So you can ask them about their job or industry. Ask them for something interesting, maybe something they've learnt, maybe what they like in their industry, maybe how they got started in the industry. Why are they doing that job? If it seems like they're not that passionate about their industry, then maybe move on to a different topic. So generally, if you're talking to entrepreneurs, they're probably going to be really passionate about their industry and their business. If you're talking to regular people who are just doing a job, maybe a bit less so. What do you enjoy most about your industry, or what is something fascinating about your industry? You can also ask what is the next interesting innovation in their industry, or what are they excited about in the future of their industry? Or you can even talk about something that's happening today like AI. Is AI threatening or helping their industry? That can be an interesting topic to discuss as well. The last point I'd like to make about this is whenever you're on a specific topic, try to get a sense for how much the other person is enjoying discussing it. If they seem really passionate and interested and they want to give more information, then stay on that topic. If they look a bit like they don't have a lot to say, or they're answering with shorter sentences, or they don't seem like they're enjoying talking about it, then just switch to a new topic. Always have a few topics in mind so you can switch through different ones. And also, if they suggest a topic or if they bring up a topic, then they're probably doing it for a reason. It's because it's interesting to them. So you can also stick on that topic too. The third key thing to know is to have a relevant story prepared. Think of a success story, something you did in your job, in your company that went really well, where you really helped your clients achieve their goals. This is going to show your competence, your experience. And if you're talking to a potential client, they might think, oh, I'm like the person in the story. Maybe I can get an outcome like the person in the story. These are really powerful. If you're a trainer, you might talk about a client who was challenging. Maybe they had a particular problem or difficulty that they were struggling with, and you help them reach their goals, whereas other coaches weren't able to achieve that. And you can explain exactly why you were successful. The key thing to remember with these success stories is to keep it positive. You don't say something like, oh, my student was so lazy, but I managed to get them to pass their exam. Nothing like that. You want the challenge to be maybe something out of their control, but you help them. And the next thing is keep the story succinct. Succinct means to keep things brief and to the point. And when you've shared your success story, you can also ask the person you're talking to about their challenging moments that they overcame, or if they have something similar. Let's look at scenarios. I'm going to show you 3 scenarios, and you should master how you introduce yourself in those first few moments of these meetings in order to make the most of your professional opportunities. Okay, so the first scenario is job interviews. Often in an interview, the first question will be, please introduce yourself or tell me a little bit about yourself, something like that. And if you're not asked it specifically, then the interviewer is definitely thinking, who is this person? This is a chance to tell the interviewer about your background, about what you're doing now, and about your dreams for the future. Don't be shy about your ambitions. Also, you can show a bit of the passion you have for whatever the role you're doing. The best way to structure an introductory statement for an interview is to use 60 seconds and to split it into 3 20-second sections. I call this the rule of 320s. You're going to spend 20 seconds talking about your past experience, 20 seconds talking about what you're doing now, and 20 seconds talking about the role that you're interviewing for and the future. So 20 seconds, it's about 3 sentences. So you can really get a lot going in this 60 seconds. You don't want to make it much longer than that because it's going to go on too long and the interviewer might get bored. And 60 seconds is long enough to tell a lot of information. And if the interviewer wants more information, they will ask you. A key thing to remember is that the past, present, and future should all link. It shouldn't be like, I studied veterinary medicine, currently I'm an astronaut, and in the future I want to be a writer. The 3 things have to be similar. They have to be on the same pathway so that it proves to the interviewer that you've been building up to the role that you're interviewing for. This is going to be really strong because nobody wants to hire someone who decided they wanted to do that job yesterday. They want someone who's passionate about the role that they could get. My goal is to be head of content creation for an education company one day. I feel this would really suit me because I love thinking of ways that people can learn and people can improve themselves. Having questions prepared comes across really, really well. It shows the interviewer that you've actually done some preparation. You're really thinking about the job. So here's 2 open-ended questions that can be used for any interview, and I really like them. The first one, what would make me successful at this role? The interviewer is then going to tell you the things that they think are important in the role. This gives you really valuable information because you can come back and say, oh, I'm good at that, or I need to work on one of those aspects. Either way, this is really good information for you to have, and they're giving you a lot of advice when they answer this question. The second question, what is your favorite thing about working here? Again, this is going to allow the interviewer to give you an insight about the company culture and what is important to them. And again, it gives you an idea on what the interviewer thinks is very important or interesting. And this could give you something to talk about later on. The second scenario is networking events. Remember the personal branding statement that I talked about earlier? This is the perfect place to have it. You can have a personal branding statement and you can have the longer elevator pitch. And you should also have some open-ended questions ready because you want to make a good impression and you're going to have a lot of time for formal and casual discussions at these kind of events. A good thing to mention early on in the conversation with anyone you meet is why you are at the event and what kind of person you're looking for. You can be quite specific because even if that person isn't the key person you're looking for, maybe they know someone. So here's what I would say. I would talk about the clients I'm looking for, and I'd also talk about the people I could partner with. I'm Charles and I'm a professional English coach. I'm here to find those that want to level up their communication skills and those that might have complementary services to what I offer. You can also have some open-ended question. What brings you here? This is very open, and if they're struggling, you can ask them, what kind of clients they're looking for, or are they looking for partnerships, or are they just there for a social event? What connections are you looking to make? So this is very specific. Who do you want to meet? So even if they don't want to meet you, you might have someone in your personal network or your professional network that's not at the event that you can connect them to. And even if that connection doesn't help you, who knows what it might bring in the future? Now I'm going to tell you 10 pieces of vocabulary that you absolutely have to know if you're going to be meeting someone professionally. This could be job interview, this could be meeting a client, or this could be meeting an investor. The first word is credentials. These are your professional qualifications or your professional experience. These have to be very specific. So qualifications are obviously university degree, education, any kind of training courses that you've done. That's very simple. For experience, make it very specific. The type of work you did, for how long, at what level. That makes it a credential. Do not make it vague. Keep it very specific. Portfolio. This comes from the file with documents in it. But in modern business, we're talking about a collection of things. So if you are a designer or a writer or someone like that, then you'll have a portfolio of your work. A portfolio could also mean a collection of shares or assets. So maybe you have shares in different companies, therefore you have a portfolio of shares. Maybe you own some different properties, so you have a portfolio of properties. Prospects. This word has a few meanings, but I'm going to focus on the meaning that it's potential opportunities. So a prospect could be a potential client. A prospect could be a potential job that you could do. A prospect could be any opportunity that you have professionally. Collaborate. This is a verb that means to work together. You collaborate with someone on a project. An initiative is usually talking about a new business strategy for something. So it could be a new sales initiative, it could be a new marketing initiative, something like that. An entrepreneur is a person who does business. A business person is called an entrepreneur. Somebody who takes a risk to try a new business venture. This could be as small as, a new coffee shop or flower stall, or it could be as big as, you know, starting the new Amazon or Facebook. All the people who own all of those businesses are entrepreneurs. Competency. Your competency is your ability to do something effectively and efficiently, i.e. to do a task well. I have competency in playing the piano. Competency usually refers to a specific task rather than a job. An accomplishment. This is something you have done, something you have achieved. So, for example, a few years ago, I ran a marathon. That is one of my accomplishments. I also started a business. That's another accomplishment. Accomplishments are very important to talk about. These are the stories that show that you can do what you're talking about. Expertise. To have expertise in an area is to have a lot of specific knowledge about how to do something or how something works. So I have expertise in the English language. And the last one is professionalism. This is how you conduct yourself in a professional environment. How much professionalism do you show? Lacking professionalism means someone is not doing the task very well and they're not taking it seriously. To show great professionalism is to do the job very well and to a high level.